Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Teralon Talks podcast. I will be your host today, Julian Wakefield, and we are interrupting our usual podcast programming with, let's say, some special coronavirus editions of the podcast to talk about what is going on and how it's affecting the filmmaking industry. Two small housekeeping things before I go on. As you might be able to hear, I'm recording this at home, and right outside is some lovely construction works. So I apologize if you hear all of that drilling and hammering. The second is that since we recorded these conversations, it was announced last night that the UK was now in lockdown, so people stay at home. This, of course, means that some of these conversations might not be as relevant as they should be, but hopefully they will be interesting nonetheless. And stay tuned, because this afternoon I am recording some more conversations with some different people. And we will try and get that episode out quicker than we got this one out. So today we have three guests, all remote guests, of course. The first is Carl from ProAV to give us a little bit of insight from the camera dealership side of things. The second is James Beer, who runs a small production company down in Brighton. And the third is Matteo Bertoli, who is a freelance filmmaker, director, editor, etc. He lives in Florida, but is originally from Italy. So he's going to give us some interesting insight from different geographical locations. That's all from me for now. Let's dive straight in with our first guest, Carl from ProAV. All right. Hi, Carl. Welcome to
Hello, Julian.
This special social distancing edition of the podcast.
Absolutely. This is the way we're going to have to talk to everyone from now on, right?
Yeah. So, Carl, you are from ProAV. For those who don't know, ProAV is the largest dealership of pro broadcast equipment in the UK. Mm-hmm. How are things your end? Are you working from home, or how is the whole situation?
We're certainly coping. It's an interesting mixture of business as usual and something entirely different. So where possible, everyone's working from home. I'm not at home at the moment. I'm in the studio, but I'm setting it up as a bit of a live streaming setup so I can carry on trying to make some sort of content for people. But from the main part of the business, the warehouse is still fully operational. The sales team are fully operational, but the sales team are remote, and so they're working from home for most cases. All the support, everything like that, tech support, everything's still operational. So fingers crossed, from a customer's point of view, nothing's different. From our point of view, a lot is different. Gone from a crowded sales office to sitting at home by yourself, lonely, answering the phone. I've spent more time on the phone in the last 4 days than I think I've certainly done for the last 2 weeks.
I bet. We've been using various video conferencing calls software, so we're all working remotely as well. So it sounds like it's just basically bare bones for everyone then.
Certainly is. Yeah, I mean, for some people that's easy, for some people it's not. Obviously we've had to make sure that it's all sales software for the most part, and phone lines, but luckily technology is pretty awesome nowadays, so we can do remote desktops, we can do IP phones and all that sort of technology, to mean that there's little difference really between a sales guy sitting in his spare bedroom at home and a sales guy sitting in his desk in the sales office. Functionality wise, it stays pretty much the same from their end of things. From my end of things, it's entirely different.
Well, that's great. I'm sure people who will be still relying on you guys to get kit out to them will be happy to hear that. But on that note, a lot of people that I've been speaking to have had jobs cancelled or postponed, and there's a kind of doom and gloom feeling going around, especially with freelancers who are, I guess, can feel completely on their own. Have you
Absolutely.
had any echoes of that your end?
Oh, definitely. Nearly every single one of our customers had the vast majority of their work cancelled on them. So obviously people aren't going to be making big camera purchases and things like that right now for the most part, because they've got no money coming in. It doesn't mean that there's no work going around though. We've seen a lot of people suddenly start showing an awful lot of interest in things like live streaming products for exactly situations like this, they're figuring out how can I continue to create content for my clients if I can't go and film a conference in person or an interview in person or whatever it may well have been in the past. Can I help my customers and my clients get that all up onto remote live streaming platforms? And luckily, technology, as I said, from the sales point of view, technology is the same from the live streaming point of view. It's so much more affordable and smaller and more portable. All the rest of it, you can set up a full-on live streaming solution in your bedroom for not too much money. You know, it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, we've certainly dusted off all our live streaming stuff.
Absolutely.
The little kit that we did have. That kind of segues very nicely into my next question was, how do you think people would find ways of working around this and turning it into a positive? So, you know, I like to quote the quote of saying, when there's a gold rush, the people who make a real fortune are people who sell pickaxes. And if you look at Zoom and Dettol, I'm sure they're having a great time right now.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
So
whoever's
maybe
making loo roll is doing very well off of it.
Yeah. So live streaming is possibly one solution, one alternative. Do you think there's anything else that people could turn to? In
terms of business model and sort of financial outcome, yeah, absolutely. I think streaming is where a lot of people are going to have to move their day-to-day job. But also long term, I guess there's other benefits. I mean, there's nothing quite like a forced break for things like mental health, and just simply being able to take a step back a little bit and refocus the mind on all sorts of things, life in general, but also the minute bits of your business. Is your business structured the way you want it to be? Are you using the right kit? Are you going after the right clients? Are you networking in the right way? Does your website look awesome? Does your showreel look awesome? All of these types of things, where it can be very, very difficult when you're working in this industry to be able to take 5 minutes and self-reflect. And I think certainly everyone I've been speaking to is going to have an awful lot of time to self-reflect over the next month, 2 months, whatever it's going to be.
We're taking a two-pronged approach to this. Is first, we're figuring out what we can do now, what we can do during this period. And then the second one is how we can prepare for what we're going to do afterwards when things do recover.
So what sorts of things are you doing?
So we're focusing a lot on animation, also doing things like repurposing, re-editing old content that we might have previously filmed for clients, and re-editing that to send a new message. And then if you add text graphics or get a voiceover artist to record something over the top, you can come up with something completely new.
We are in this really strange place where it's going to be harder to physically make content, but the demand for consuming content is going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to be spending lots of time on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media, and all the rest of it. And clients across the board, no matter what they do, are going to have lots of need for video, and they're going to be struggling to create new content and new ideas. And if you can find ways to do that for them without
leaving home.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
Yeah, it is a strange time.
And also, it's also a really good opportunity to just simply take a little look at your kit and how you're using it. And, we're here, pick up the phone, talk to us, send us an email. I mean, obviously the showroom here is closed, but I'm going to be trying to do some live streams and stuff like that, which is why I'm in this strange set that you probably haven't seen before. Let's chat. Let's change the way that you're doing things so that in a couple of months' time, when the money starts flowing back in, that can be the way that you work.
Are you guys kind of doubling down on camera reviews and getting more content for your YouTube channel? Is it Carl let loose with the camera in the showroom?
No, it's Carl trapped in a room trying to do live streams because my camera operator and editor are now on the other side of the country and all this sorts of jazz. I can't get the team together in the showroom to make content as much. So we're going to be making some, absolutely. But what I'm investigating at the moment is how can we do live streams to keep the same sort of content and also keep people busy. You know, we've got manufacturers and influencers and all sorts of people who want to talk to people. So a podcast where that works would be quite good.
You know, it's a time where everyone seems to want to communicate more than ever. I mean, I've had countless number of emails from companies I didn't even know existed, updating me on how they're dealing with all of this.
Absolutely, yeah. If you open up your emails on your phone, it's just a list, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think it will be easy for people to find something good to come out of all of this situation. If it's not short term, then it will be long term.
Well, great. Thank you, Carl, for joining in.
No problem at all.
And,
thank you for having me.
I will let you know when this comes out, and I hope everyone finds value in it.
Yeah. Take care.
And you.
Stay safe, dude. See ya. Bye.
All right, that was Carl. Thank you for bearing with us on this one. That was my first one of these remote ones, so a little bit rusty, a little bit, dare I say, nervous. I hope it didn't come across that way too much. Next up is James Beer, who runs 23 Digital, a small production company down in Brighton. Hi, James.
Hey, Julian, how are you?
Good, thanks. You at home self-isolating?
I am indeed in my house, in my bedroom actually, as you might be able to see behind me. It's my office as well, but yeah, I'm stuck here with 2 kids and my partner.
Yeah, at least you're close to family.
Yeah, no, I actually quite like it. It's not. I don't feel hard done by. I feel quite lucky to have a bit of time off, not off work, but off from having to travel around and go places. So, yeah, I could be in worse places right now.
So for people who don't know who you are, do you want to give me a brief, quick idea of who you are, what you do? Are you freelancer? Are you part of a company? All that kind of jazz.
Sure. My name's James, and I run a company called 23 Digital. We're a video production company, much like yourself, and we're based in Brighton. Now, there's just 2 of us in the company, and we work with a network of freelancers and contractors. And yeah, actually, a year ago we had quite a big team, but we had to streamline for certain reasons, and we actually became very lightweight, and it kind of prepared us for this this time we're in now. But yeah, I think that kind of sums me up.
Great. We're talking about coronavirus and how this has affected people. What changes have you had to make? Obviously, you can't go out and film anymore.
I don't know if we aren't allowed to go out and film. I know we're not supposed to be, going out and meeting people, but you could go out and film something. You could possibly do an interview with someone at a safe distance if you take the right precautions. So until we get told, I think today they just announced that pubs and gyms and bars and cafes have to close now, which is good news because people need clarity. But I think for a lot of freelancers and people that work for themselves, especially in the video industry, they're going to keep working as much as they can because they've been cut off massively. So we've just basically been working on, kind of some offerings for our clients to kind of try and get around that, offering remote stuff, and I'll go into that later. But yeah, we are basically trying to do stuff remotely. I was in the office on Wednesday, and it was dead. There was no one there, and actually it was quite a sterile place to be. But then we had some meetings set up on Thursday, and we thought, well, maybe we'll finish on Friday, which is today, kind of work from home on Friday. But I went home and my partner said, why are you going into work on Thursday tomorrow when you could work from home and do these meetings? And I didn't really have an answer. And I was like, you're right, I should be working from home. So we all just agreed to meet up online. So we started yesterday, and the effect on the business is massive. Everyone I've spoken to has said the same thing, and it's really worrying. In 1 week, I think we lost 8 jobs we've been working on. We'd lined up 8 jobs, and one of them was a huge job that was about to start that would have seen us through till gone Easter, and they just dropped like flies, and you knew something was wrong because it wasn't just one, it was all of them, and it was very worrying. But the fact that everyone's in the same boat as you, everyone's in the same position, you just kind of felt a bit more comfortable that you were in this in this kind of like there's a meteorite coming towards us and we're all in the same,
Yeah,
ship.
I suppose if you were the only person affected by this, you'd be like, what do I do?
when you run your own companies, it's very tough, and you do go through peaks and troughs of financial kind of security, and winning business, losing business, overcoming big obstacles, and we're kind of used to being battered around. And I think we kind of, we've gone into this going, right, it's not the end of the world. We just have to change a few things, and that's what we've been working on all week. I've been working on business development all week, talking to our clients and coming up with a kind of contingency plan, because yes, things have changed massively, and we'll be changing for the next 3 months at least, maybe more. But I'm not letting it get to me, because there's too many important things to kind of keep up, like family and just general morale, and trying to look at look for the opportunities that come out of adversity sometimes. So it's been challenging so far, but right now actually is looking quite positive at the moment. We've got a lot of positive conversations going on, around new business.
So what kind of contingency plans have you been able to put in place? What kind of opportunities have you found in all of this?
Well, luckily for us, over the last couple of years, we've done a few live streaming jobs. We did a huge webcast on Twitch for one of our poker clients a few years ago, and that was a baptism of fire, where I turned up to a job, my first job for Unibet in Bucharest in Romania. As soon as I sat down with the client, they said, "We've got another job for you," and I'd not even met them before. "We've got another job in about a month's time. I want you to host a huge kind of like comedy game show on Twitch and give away £500,000 worth of prizes." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, great, yeah, great. Oh, you mean it? Oh." And then they gave me this massive budget, and so then I did the job in Romania. Went home, basically called up like old school friends, and I was like, "Look, I've got this crazy job. I've got to build a set. I've got to get actors. I've got to get makeup and hair and all these things I hadn't done before, and I've also got to live stream it." So what I'm getting around to is we've gone down right. Just because everyone's got to work from home, just because the doors are shut on businesses, that doesn't mean they've got to stop talking and stop communicating with their clients and their kind of audience. We've just gone, look, we want to offer you some different packages to have virtual meetings or broadcast yourself online. So we've been talking to a lot of people that have live streaming experience. Big up Alden Plowden, who actually was my live streamer on that big job and rescued the day, because that was such a big job, and Adam was a key part in that, and he had a lot of experience in that area. And we said, right, we also a lot of the work we lost was in events. So about 5 jobs we had coming up, because it's event season now, like spring is always new events popping up. We just said, look, how about you do a virtual event? You can use all these kind of free platforms out there, like Zoom, which is obviously not the cheap version, is very short, but Facebook, YouTube, all this kind of stuff. So you can have the broadcast section. We'll come up, come along. We'll set up a camera, lights, audio, green screen. And you can broadcast on these kind of social media platforms, or we can set up a webinar for you, and we'll no one has to be on location. We'll run this remotely, and then we'll kind of vision mix and moderate from our locations. And even the team here doesn't have to be in the same room. And then we'll use a bit of live streaming software and, Zoom, I suppose. Everyone's saying Zoom at the moment, but I think Zoom is probably one of the best platforms for it right now. And then there's the pre-record, so we can go along and do some pre-recorded talking head stuff, edit it down, put some graphics on it, and post it out for the client. So those are the 3 things that we're offering at the moment. I'm not hopeful, and I'm not going, "Oh, this is great." I'm just quite pleased that I've got something that I can do remotely or virtually, that kind of is very relevant right now.
Yeah, you're finding positive opportunities that come from it, because these people, they kind of still want to host their events, or they still want to reach those audience that now can't.
Exactly. Exactly. I've just had a client actually I've worked with for years, and their event in New York in May has been postponed probably, and that to them is their kind of key event of the year, and that pays for a lot of things. It's a big tentpole, and if that tentpole gets knocked down, then it's going to really affect the rest of the year. So they've asked me today actually whether we can do a same sort of thing, like a webinar, big kind of like monetization, walled garden, webinar, full life production we call it. But they want to do animated avatars instead of just webcam. So we're gonna try and design some 3D animated avatars, and then they can be voice of God, and we can animate them. I don't know if it's possible. Anything is possible nowadays. It should be.
If they're on a camera, can you kind of track it to their face and have kind of live animation almost?
Yeah, exactly. So there's some of that technology out there already. There's some really advanced stuff, but we don't want advanced. We just want that simple, kind of easy to use technology. So the clients just come to me with that about an hour ago, and I've just spoken to a few people, and they're like, yeah, should be okay. So people are trying to get creative and imaginative to trying to keep their events running, keep their revenue coming in, keep people like us employed.
Yeah, I suppose maybe advice for other people wondering what to do right now who aren't in the same boat as you and haven't figured out what they want to do with all of this yet is maybe think laterally and leverage the context that you have and that you can use to kind of still provide services that people now need.
Yeah, it's it's tricky because if you can go to someone's house and film them, then those types of bits of content should still be achievable. Mm-hmm. If you've got cameras and drones or whatever you've got, you could at least be out practicing with it and creating some sort of show reel. Mm-hmm. You have to be creative, don't you, really, to kind of get yourself out of a situation. And on the one hand, you're being given lots of time, so you've got time to think about stuff. You've got a bit less pressure. But it depends where you are and who you've got around you, really. But I mean, for a lot of people, I think already I've seen a big influx on LinkedIn of people talking to camera. Just people kind of going, look, it's the first time I've done it. They've really thought about it. They're delivering their message. They want to talk to their clients. Some people don't, have that kind of capability. So they might need a bit of help doing that. So if you do have, you could put a message out there that you kind of want to help people, even offer free advice, to help people that remotely kind of thing. It's hard to make money when you can't really go out and do something. But if you can give something away, like you've been doing on your podcast, give away some free advice, try and help some people, and see what happens, really. Because you never know what's around the corner, and that's the best thing about this job, is you never know what's about to come, fall into your lap and become your next mission.
Yeah, you get challenges thrown at you every day. Looking ahead to the future, and maybe talking about what will come next once the situation kind of calms down a little bit. I've definitely seen, because everyone's kind of isolating and there's a big there's an increase in the number of people who are suddenly on social media on their phones, and PR companies and communication agencies who would normally be very much in events, for example. There's a huge turn to digital content. So live streaming, maybe animation, producing videos, and however they may do that. Do you think this is going to have a positive impact for our kind of industry once everything kind of calms down a bit, and people will remember that digital content is not that they should need reminding, but it is important.
No, I think it's going to have a really positive impact in the long term. I think people are going to realise that everyone who's online already needs to be using online more for their content, rather than going to events and spending money, time, carbon footprint, etc. I mean, people already do. Like nowadays, I think people are already kind of bombarded and with kind of digital content. But hopefully that means the level of quality will go up, and I think you'll see a few more people kind of talking to camera, that kind of thing. But I think those that hopefully will survive, but those that actually make it through this horrible period we're about to go into will see will come out of it quite well at the end if they can make it. It's really hard to tell, but I think people will value digital content, especially video marketing, because there's so many different ways you can do it. You can do it yourself, you can spend some money on it, you can animate it.
As we're learning now.
Yeah, exactly. And the apps that that Adobe are producing, like the Adobe Animator and stuff you can do at home on your own, the AR on your phone that you can do some crazy cool stuff with. And also, what I'm really interested in is the kind of move towards VR and AR, because what you're doing is you're just augmenting what's already there. So, I've got a 360 camera, and we were going to do a live stream for a loneliness club. It was a live stream where I think 8 adults were going to get together and talk about topics, and it was for people that are lonely. And we were going to put a 360 camera in the middle of them, and broadcast it to Facebook, and then people that were stuck at home or couldn't make it out or too shy to come along would be able to kind of like log in on Facebook and speak to them on the chat. But the idea would be that you would be able to move your phone around or put a VR helmet on and really feel like you're there and really be immersed in it. So I think kind of those immersive experiences are going to be on the up in future.
Right before we started recording, you mentioned that you were freelance before this, and you were kind of working from home, and so it's kind of a bit more of the same. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Yeah,
I started freelancing 10 years ago, and then fast forward 10 years, I'm kind of back at the same desk I'm on now, exactly the same desk with a laptop, just chatting to people online, chatting to loads of people. And that's the best thing, about technology, is that you have these communication lines with different people. And, I think the one thing, that we're all going to remember at the end of this, is that face-to-face is so valuable. And, we all, love being around people. But in the interim, at least we've got some really good technology to, keep us connected in the meantime.
Great. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining in, James, and giving us a bit of insight. I'm sure everyone who is stuck at home or choosing to stay at home will appreciate.
Thank you. And I hope you guys stay safe and everything works out for you guys up there in London.
And you stay safe and healthy.
Cheers, Julian. Take care, mate.
All right. See you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Third and final guest for today is Matteo Bertoli. Now, I apologize right now for the audio quality because this was all recorded through FaceTime. We didn't get Matteo to record audio and video on his end. I hope it won't deter you from listening to it all, because in my opinion there are some really interesting let's say perspectives in this conversation. Hello.
Hey,
how are you?
What's up?
Not much, just hanging out, self-isolating.
Shit, I know. It's kind of crazy, man.
Hey, thanks for volunteering to jump on this and participate.
For sure, man. I mean, we don't have much to do, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people sitting at home.
I know. No, it's cool because here we're pretty, isolated too. So.
Yeah. So just really quickly, because
yes,
some of the people listening or watching won't know who you are.
Okay.
Matteo Bertoli, you are a DP and cinematographer, and you're currently in Florida.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a couple seconds on who you are and what you do and where you are?
Yeah, I'm Matteo. I'm a cinematographer, filmmaker, editor, colorist. I do a little bit of everything, and I own my little production company. And I just moved from LA to Florida, and I'm originally from Italy. But Tampa Bay area right now.
Nice, very nice. I've seen your pictures and stuff on social media. It doesn't look too bad, social distancing out there on the beach.
No, except tonight at midnight they're gonna close down all the beaches. So.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, they've just closed the pubs here, so.
Yeah. So that's your beach, huh? But it's well, they did it for tourists. It's like I wish Florida resident would be allowed, but they have to. There's just too many people on the beach.
Yeah. So, can you give us a bit of an understanding of how things are over there? Because obviously here in Europe, I think we're being affected a bit more ahead of you guys in the US. How has this affected you? Maybe a little bit in daily life, but also in your job. Have you had many jobs cancelled and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of living it twice because all my family is in Lombardy, Italy. So it's like the most affected region, I think, in the world right now. So it's like here is in Florida, at least it's a bit different. New York and California are kind of like locked down and stuff. Here, I got a shoot moved, and I have another schedule for April. They didn't move it yet, but I mean, of course they will, and it's tough because I just moved here and I was like developing a good like network of like filmmaking and stuff, and with other filmmakers, and we were trying to make some stuff, and there were shoot like paid gigs too, like corporate videos, but yeah, everything it seems like though they moved a little bit faster here. It's just. I mean, everybody was hard to freaking out. I think they started canceling their movie like a week ago now. When at that point, America had like very few cases. So, but for now, I mean, everybody's just holding on and waiting. Nothing much going on. I think it's a good chance to shoot some stock footage.
Yeah.
Or at least it was, because now they closed the beach. So.
Yeah.
No,
but you can still go out and you can still go out in town and that kind of stuff, or are most people staying at home?
Yeah. So Florida is not in any sort of lockdown. I think that even restaurants are not even closed. They reduce capacity. They will eventually. Yeah, I mean, we can do anything except, I mean, probably some beaches are going to still be open, but yeah, we can go around for now. The good thing about here is it's not, I don't know about Miami, but here's like you've been to Naples, right? Many times. It's pretty quiet. So, except spring breakers, but those are thinking going back home because there's nothing much left here. But I have a lot of friends in LA and New York, which are being very affected too, because probably like London, rent is really expensive, and they're like,
they need to
without any gigs, it's just hard.
Need to keep paying the bills.
Yeah, and then there's people with kids, because we're lucky because we're just like us, but like people with 2-3 kids and a mortgage and that kind of stuff is kind of tough for sure.
So it is similar to us, is you getting work postponed or cancelled?
They call it postponed because I mean it's probably going to happen eventually. Again, the April shoot is, I didn't hear anything yet. It's a 2 days commercial in Miami. They're probably, because it's towards end of April, they're probably just going to wait because he might just as well get away, but still a month away. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's like it's a weird situation because
So what are you doing?
Everybody's in the same boat.
What are you doing in the meantime to kind of keep yourself busy or to keep business going or to make the most of this downtime that we've all got?
I have a lot of stuff to edit, unfortunately, and I have to do it, but I don't really like editing. So that's but I have to. So I have a documentary that I've been waiting to edit this month that I have to do it, and then I have a wedding thing that I have to edit as well. So I have a lot of editing to do, and I'm gonna try to run. I have a small YouTube channel that I'm gonna, just try to find something to upload there. Could be a tutorial, could be, I don't know. I just uploaded a video, probably the last video on the beach. But other than that, it's just like trying to find idea, and it's not easy because it's like you need to go to location to film and stuff, and it's not easy.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people are doing things like updating their show reels, updating their websites, that kind of stuff. Are you doing any of that? Or, I mean, you said editing. Are you doing some self-promotion so that you're ready to go once this all clears up?
No, I just been to Germany like right before this thing exploded to shoot this Mercedes commercial. So I'm working. I just doing the color grading for it. We're waiting for the feedback from the agency. And I'm really waiting. I was like, I'm going to wait for this Mercedes thing. I'm going to add it to I have 6 works on my website. And then I'm going to start messaging all the agency in Florida and all the production company. Because the reality is I came here and I met a lot of people, but I didn't really email anyone or like reaching out. I was waiting for this Mercedes thing to come out, which is probably one of the best things I shot like as a cinematographer. So I was waiting just to do that. I don't do show reel anymore. I just keep, because show reel, I don't know. I rather people to see the different kind of work that I did in there.
Yeah, and the full projects.
The full project, because I think it gives you a better context. So I'm not doing reel, but and I have to be honest, man. I think towards the end of the year last year, it wasn't that busy. And I did organize all my drives, all my gear, everything. So it's kind of like everything done. I don't really,
You're so organized.
Yeah,
that's really good.
So organized. Like all the drives were like perfect, and the Pelican case all in order. And I was literally like, I did that last year, so it was ready to go 2020. Then I wish I knew it, but
you're like the exact opposite to us.
I know a lot of people are like enjoying these moments, but for me it's like and in London it's like, how is there? Because it's
well, so it seems like the rest of Europe, or a lot of the rest of Europe, is kind of locking down, and I'm sure you know about Italy, and part of my family are in France, so they're kind of staying at home. They can go out for shopping and a bit of exercise and stuff, but that's about it. London, up until fairly recently, seemed very normal. I mean, there's still a lot of people in the street. It's a bit of a weird atmosphere because there's no food in the shops and everyone's kind of waiting for the storm to come. But just today, and I don't know when people are going to be watching or listening to this, but just today they announced that pubs and restaurants and things like that need to close as well. They closed schools a couple of days ago, apart from children of essential workers and that kind of stuff. So it's still, I think it's kind of just starting for us in terms of having to stay inside and that kind of stuff. But certainly from work perspective, all their shoots have been postponed and cancelled for a little while. Damn. So, it's not all doom and gloom, because, there are incredible opportunities that come from this. And this is something that we've been talking to several people about on this podcast, kind of finding out what people are doing with the time to not just sit at home and be depressed. We're pushing things like animation, editing, live streaming, things like that. So, if you think of some companies like Bertoli and Zoom, all the hand sanitizer companies, they're doing really well. So we're kind of trying to think, what can we do to become like a hand sanitizer company and actually profit from this situation?
No, and I was thinking too, like, if you're like a one-man band kind of situation, where you don't have to, I don't know, if someone want their video of their empty office, like that's perfect, because you're not in touch with anybody and you don't have a crew or anything. So technically, of course, there's the economic side where, businesses are shutting down. Because I was thinking even like YouTube, I read some YouTubers said their traffic went down a lot, which is weird because you feel like people are home.
Yeah, you'd assume that it would go up.
Yeah, but I don't think they're in the mood to watch certain kind of video, or at least they're not in the mood to purchase anything right now. So even those like Amazon affiliate, which is a big part of YouTube, was going like this for me, and then it went down because like people are just waiting now to buy stuff. But on the other side, there's a toilet paper company. I mean, I wish they're gonna add me to shoot a commercial or something because they're probably loaded right now.
Yeah, you should definitely get in touch with people like that. Shoot some spec toilet roll ads at home while you're waiting.
I mean, where else do you use toilet paper? It's not at home, so it could be a good challenge for sure. But I'm hearing like people here discounting, doing like special rates, and do like kind of like coronavirus related videos, right? Maybe someone's gonna, you probably receive tons of email from company. Maybe other companies just want to do a video of them, or
absolutely. I mean, I've said that to a couple of people that we've phoned up today. We get tons and tons of emails of everyone saying this is how we're dealing with coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I mean, people definitely still want to talk to their audience, and they still want to get their messages out there. It's the tricky part is if you are stuck at home, how do you do that?
True.
I guess re-editing stock footage and things like that might be one solution, but.
So like technically, like in Italy, even if they're full lockdown, if I was in Italy now, I could go out and film because I can auto-certify that I'm shooting stock footage and I'm going to sell those clips. Which, by the way, I thought this was like a really good opportunity because I think about how much it costs to film London with no one out, or like Milan or Paris.
Yeah.
And now you have these, or LA, you have these crazy places all empty, and you can just film them. And maybe that stock footage is going to be worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know it certainly in the city of London, I think it's something like £2,600 to close down one street for one day.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of admin as well. So if you need to do that, go do that now, because if the streets are empty, now's your chance to go film. Was it Bose, the noise cancelling headphones that they made it seem like the streets of London were empty in one of their ads?
That could be amazing. And to be honest, I mean, as far like in Italy now, they wanna block even like they want to avoid even people jogging and exercising outside. But I'm like, as long as you're by yourself, like. There's not really a lot of danger, it's mainly 50 people crew, 20 people crew together. I get it, but if it's just us going out and filming, I mean,
if you're a freelancer or one-man band, get out there and film some stock footage.
I mean, and even if you're two people, you can keep your distance and put a mask on or two. But I mean, it's true that we need to be very careful and like try to stop this thing. But it's also true that it's like. We need to, because I don't think government is going to be like, oh, you're not going to pay your taxes today, right? They're moving them. So in US, they moved taxes 90 days now. But that's not help. Like, they have to cancel that. Or they have to do something. Or like people are not, it's especially for people that live in a super high rent areas, it's going to be hard. So hopefully they're gonna allow us to do something, or like at least give us like some help, because like everybody's thinking, like of course like people in restaurant and bar, but it's small business like us. It's like I was super pumped about 2020. It was like, this is the year.
Yeah.
New clients. I'm in Florida, a lot of opportunities, and like.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, 2020 felt like the year to get stuff done. Beginning of a new decade.
Yeah. Hopefully we're gonna have some help, because like well, in Italy, if they cancel taxes, it's basically like if you're making crap tons of money, because there's like 50-60% tax rate.
Yeah.
Imagine if they cancel taxes, everyone's gonna be partying and happy. It's like, well, whatever. So.
Are they really thinking of doing that, or
what?
Are they really thinking of doing that? Canceling taxes? No.
I mean,
it'd
honestly,
be too good to be true.
We might get to a point where they have to, because at some point dude, if you can't make money and you can't pay your mortgage and you can't pay your rent, but not you. If thousands of people start to do that, it's not that they can evict everybody.
Well,
have to come up.
That's one good thing, is that, you know, it's not something that's specific to one person, or it's not something that's specific to the film or creative industry. It's everyone at the same time. So, you know, there are people helping each other out, and government relief. In England here, you can apply for grants as a small business and things like that. So that there are things you can do to get help. So, you know, there is positive in that.
No, they have to. And I think, I mean, I'm glad, because like, you know, we always talk about passive income, right, as a filmmakers. And I think this is like a situation where, well, it's extreme. It's not going to happen for another 100 years after this. But when you think about it, how it takes nothing to just destroy an entire business based on like shooting. So I think, you know, like, it could be YouTube, it could be stock footage, it could be digital product, it could be a lot of stuff. But I think now more than ever is like very important that every filmmaker, because this thing is proving that even like top union DP people that shoot like Mercedes commercial, especially them, I think they're gonna lose more money than me and you probably, because we have like, you know, like other stuff's going on. But I think it's super important to develop like passive income for like, this is again is like extreme scenario, but you know, you never know. So it's like it's crazy.
Yeah, I that is something that I notice you do a fair amount of passive income type stuff, because, you know, you've got your YouTube channel, but I know that you film a lot of stock footage, and that you have a lot of stock footage on these stock footage websites. You know, even there have been a few times when I've needed to find stock footage, and I kind of search for like, this is such a beautiful shot, and then I look at the credits like, oh, Matteo. So I guess it is a good time for people to, or it does make people think, what would happen if you can't shoot? What can you do? How can you diversify your offering and your income to safeguard against something like this? So, you know, hopefully it'll get people doing more stuff like that.
No, it's super important. And to be honest, I got an email from Film Supply, where I license the footage, saying that they're actually seeing an increase in demand for stock footage. And I think that 2 days ago, what is that bank in England, the HBS something, they bought a clip of mine.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's Film Supply for you. You know, it's like sometimes I make $50 a day. I mean, most of the time you make like nothing, but then one big client buys your clip and you pay the rent with that clip. But now it's like a huge, because they still need to like advertise their product, right?
Yeah.
Especially like loans, banks, pharmaceutical company, that kind of stuff. But they know they can't shoot or film. So stock footage is going to be like gold right now. I think the demand is going to go really high, hopefully.
I think for people who have prepared for it and who have been putting their stuff up on stock footage websites like you are going to be quite happy in the next couple months.
I mean, I hope so. It's a really hit and miss again. You know, sometimes you have Verizon buying something, and then you have like 2 months of like nothing. But the hope is that, because I try to, you know, I have the Alps, I have Tuscany, I have London, I have like Los Angeles, I have like a bunch of stuff, a big variety. So hopefully it's gonna work out a little bit to have some passive income from there. But it's like it's hard. It's of course hard to monetize, because when the economy get hit, there's not a lot of people that are gonna spend money. You know.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to save now, so it's,
I mean, I think people still do want to get their messages out there and still want to communicate, and stock footage is one of the go-to solutions. But then balance, you know, as you said, balancing it with, do people actually want to spend money, and how much are they going to be spending on things like this, and what's it going to do to the economy as a whole?
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is going to be even if it seems long, it's gonna be short. It's like I'm pretty sure in a couple of months it's not gonna go back to normal, but maybe we're gonna still be able to go to a restaurant and distancing ourselves or go out for a shoot. Like in China, I heard DP saying they're starting shooting again, crew under 50 people.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of like doing the right thing now, stay home for a while, just take it as a vacation. And I mean, SARS completely disappeared. It's true. It wasn't spreading like crazy like this, but it was more like, like dangerous, but it just disappeared from one day to another. It just disappeared. Because like when you isolate people, technically, hopefully it's going to disappear and then we're going to have a vaccine. But we need to think positive too, thinking that it's going to last whatever, a few weeks. And then we go back to normal.
Well, fingers crossed. That is the case. It'd be great if that's true. Kind of treat this interim period as a period to refocus. Think about think about your business model. Think about how to prepare if something like this does happen again, or if something else means that you can't shoot. I often think, what if I have some kind of physical injury that means I can't operate a camera anymore, or if I don't know, go blind or something, for example.
No, it's true. It's
what am I going to do next? Plan B. And then fingers crossed it clears up fairly quickly and we can start filming again, because
I know it's our I mean, I already know that what's going to happen is I'm going to sit here doing nothing for a month, and then in 1 month is gonna be gone. I'm gonna be like, damn it! I knew it had all that time to do something, and now, if I have to be completely honest with you, even sitting at the computer editing, it's incredibly hard. I can't really focus because I think everybody's thinking, how long? If they tell us it's gonna be 2 months, you're like, all right, you kind of go peace with yourself, but without knowing. Even like editing or doing anything really is just I try to exercise a little bit. Otherwise I see my friends, my family, the other day they're going nuts. They're locked down for 2 weeks. Everybody start cooking pizza and pasta and they're always drunk, and it's like,
oh man, it sounds like you're having a great time right now.
I mean, it's like, it's like I can't even imagine how much money like there's like Campari, Aperol they're making, because like everybody's just happy hour every day. Hey, I don't even know when's Friday, when's Saturday, when's Sunday or Monday.
Well, I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. There's a lot of people who are benefiting from the situation, whether it's Campari, food delivery services, toilet roll suppliers.
No, it's true.
So I'd encourage people to think, what can I do to become a person like that? Maybe put your footage on stock websites now before people start searching for it.
No, it's could be a good idea for shooting. Yeah, you said spec cat. If you have a camera, if you have your gear, lights. I mean, you shouldn't see anyone, but I mean, a couple of friends. As long as you get in touch with anyone sick. No, cool. I'm not saying you have to exchange glasses or anything, but like collaborating with most stuff with a small amount of people, it's probably still manageable. It's like
just be sensible about it.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully.
Well, thank you so much, Matteo, for joining in.
Thank you.
And it's great to kind of hear from someone who is in the US and who also has links to Italy, a bit of a different perspective there. So that's great too.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll speak soon.
All right. Bye, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That concludes the first episode of the coronavirus special Teralon Talks podcast. Thanks for listening to all of these conversations. I hope it's useful. I hope it's entertaining, especially if you're all stuck at home. And stay tuned for the next episode, which will be published very soon. I'm actually recording them this afternoon. All right. Bye now.